Guess I've just been like bypassing everything instead of like dealing with it. I feel like it's the best decision to not be here, especially because we only have 2 days left. It's like it's not gonna feel good. I mean, even
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book 91. Listen, we're talking to you guys about, well, friendships being over. Look, you can avoid all the emotions and suppress them all you want, but you're only going to bring yourself more conflict in your friendship and potentially ruin the friendship long term. In this scene, we see Summer, a character on the show, sorry, a real person on the show, of Summer Martha's Vineyard or Martha's house, Summer House, sorry, and she is frustrated or hurt at a point where, because she has been the cause of some of the issues within the house. She has, unfortunately, because she's been suppressing a lot of her issues and her problems and her heartache and some of the things that are going on with family back home, she exploded. And when she exploded, everybody got it. Okay, she got physical at one point. You know, she was cussing people out and was absolutely becoming an absolute menace in the household. Now, you might be saying, you're right, she should go home. I'm going to say that there should be another perspective here. If you run away from your problems here, you're not dealing with the actual issue. And sometimes you need to sit in your uncomfortableness to be able to go through, and able to get to the other side and bring about a change, not only to yourself, but to the friendships and the way that you're dealing with them. A lot of friendships end because people don't know how to move through the most uncomfortable phases of that friendship. You have an argument, you have an issue, right? Somebody does something that's really painful and wrong. And instead of actually going back and saying, let me mend the relationship, people run away. And how they run away is that they don't call, they don't text, they don't message, you don't get any communication, and everybody goes, well, I guess they don't want to talk, so we'll just leave them as they be. And when anger is at the hilt, people are willing to leave relationships that they would have stayed in for a long time. They're willing to, put it to the side and say, well, they don't want to be my friend, I don't want to be their friend either, right? But the reality of the situation is, it starts because you suppressed your emotions and suppressed your actual truth. We've been talking about this on a series of videos, talk about self-abandonment. And self-abandonment simply means when you don't recognize, or I should say, in the sense of, you don't put across your actual emotions, needs, and desires. You abandon your needs, and oftentimes it leads into people pleasing, and then it leads into boundary issues where you put other people's needs above yours. That's what self-abandonment, in a sense, is abandoning your needs and putting others above yours, right? And when you do that, you get frustrated, and then things happen, and then you explode, because what you've been doing is suppressing all that you feel, and you've pressed it all the way down, and it only needs a trigger, and boom, it snaps. And then there's this angry reaction, and you probably feel like, you know what, it's been coming, because people have been saying X, Y, and Z, da da da. But the reality is, now your reaction is actually far more exceeding of the actual situation that you're actually in. And you may feel justified, but now you're losing friends. And now, instead of actually fixing it, you're going to run away. Let's have a little look at this clip here, and you'll see what I mean by running away. Let's have a look.
even though there's only 2 more days left, I'm realizing that I can't just pretend to be happy. I'm eager to heal the situations in my life that need to be addressed. I want.
Now, she says she's eager to heal the issues in her life right away, but the actual issues in her life are in that house. Right? Now, she goes and says sorry, but she actually doesn't sit through the uncomfortableness of actually the emotions that she feels and how she's made other people feel. She doesn't sit in it. And that's why it's going to keep on happening until she actually deals with the issue. See, sometimes what people want to do is, if I go away, I can start a whole brand new clean sheet. But the reality is, it is the person with the pen in the hand that creates a mess on the paper. The paper in itself does not create a mess. And so wherever you go, whatever paper you start with, you're going to still be writing and drawing and making the mess elsewhere. So the issues she should have sorted out with should have been in the household first. She should have practiced sorting out the issues here, then went to her family, because the immediate issue was here. But instead, what she wanted to do, and what a lot of people end up doing, is running away and self-soothing. Yes, many of us who are avoidant when it comes to our emotions will end up self-soothing ourselves by going into isolation and going by ourselves and going into a corner and saying, well, when I finish and I've self-soothed, I'll come out and then I'll deal with it. In that time, you've actually allowed your impact to fester in people's minds, and people don't forget how they actually feel, right? So you may say sorry later on, but it's too late now, because you've let it fester for a few days because you wanted to self-soothe, right? And you cause a rift in your friendships, right? by doing this. Now, no matter how justified you may feel that you are, the reality of the situation, the Bible says, do not let the devil have a foothold in your relationship. That includes friendships too. We shouldn't let things have those moments. Now, there are justified issues where we do split and we do have to go our separate ways. We see Abraham and Lot do that in the Bible. We see John Mark and Paul in the Bible go their separate ways, right? And they come back a little bit later, a few years down the line. But the reality of the situation is, in this scenario is, you have to look at it from a perspective of, you have to look at it from a perspective of, that you are trying in a friendship. When you're the cause of the issue, you must also be one of the causes of the solution too. Okay, all right. So I totally understand what's going on in this situation with Summer, but I want you to listen to what's going to happen a little bit later on, because I think this is really powerful. What Jordan ends up saying in her clip. So let's just quickly play this as well. Listen to this.
It always comes up. I would have liked her to. I think Summer wasn't ready to talk about certain things, but when you push it down, it always comes up.
And that's precisely it, right? Summer's not ready to talk about certain things, but she thinks she can go home and mend issues at home too. You're not going to be able to do it, because if you ain't done it here, you ain't going to do it over there. What you're looking for is a clean slate. Oh, I offended the people here, so if I go back home, they don't know about my offense, so I can start all over again. It'll happen again, because you're still suppressing the emotions that you have. If you're somebody who's suppressing emotions, you're trying to squash it down. You don't want to deal with the uncomfortable conversations and the uncomfortable feelings that you're actually in, and you don't want to sit in it. It is going to show up again. It is going to show up again. You know what I'm saying to you? It is going to show up again. Right? It is going to show up again. So in reality, it's one of those situations, and I look at it and I go, I've been there myself, and then you feel, and the painful part is that a lot of this starts from our childhood, right? We've been rejected at home. We've been rejected from our parents. There's been no emotional safe spaces. Either you might have been reprimanded for your emotions. You might have been forced to think about others. You might have become an adult before your time. And so how you dealt with emotions was, let's not deal with it at all. Let's put it aside and get on with things. And you might have thought that's how your friendship should also do, right? Oh, I've said sorry, let's move on. But the reality is, saying sorry doesn't remove the emotion of how people are feeling due to the impact you've made. And so now you feel uncomfortable sitting in a space where, even though you said sorry, people still feel some type of way about you. It's okay. You need to sit in it, and you need to hold it. It too shall pass. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. It will too pass. It just needs that little bit of time to sit in it. And once you go through that first one, you'll realize actually people don't hate you. What they are trying to do is they're trying to also regulate themselves and work through how they're feeling at that moment. And they need to get some things off their chest, probably more than likely as well, right? That's also a big part of it. And my final point on this part is that the difficulty of fixing situations like this is that it takes emotional energy and it takes emotional connection to do so. Because we are emotionally connected to our people, we have a judgment-free zone. We have spaces where the little details count. We're in a place where we realize it's a 50-50 or 100-100, if you want to call it, right? We look at situations where we say, actually, I care about your well-being. And I care about my well-being, and you're able to correctly put your needs and desires in the priority. You're able to address what you need without actually dismissing somebody else's, or you're able to address how you need without dismissing your own, right? So, or address what they need without dismissing your own, sorry. So in the space of, that comes with a maturity, but that also comes with learning about emotional connection and being connected to yourself first and foremost. And number two, being in a place also where you can sit in the uncomfortableness. And number three, you are emotionally connected to yourself, knowing that when I'm connected to myself, when I'm talking with my friends, I want to reconnect with them. But if you're used to always being disconnected, what ends up happening is you drift and you cut. And if you drift and you cut, you know what I'm saying to you? Yeah? So, yeah, man, look, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying to you? So for me personally, I would say that, look, with Summer, a last little clip I'll play and I'll make my final points.
I would have liked her to stay to get to a better place with everybody. But You gotta go. You gotta go.
So as you can see, someone said, as you can see, she as Jordan has said, the lady that was just there said, look, I wanted her to be in a better place. I wanted her to be in a better place before she left. But if you gotta go, you gotta go. It's not just that she gotta go, she gotta go. Someone doesn't want to solve the issue. She doesn't know how to solve the issue. She doesn't know where to start with the issue, and doesn't have the emotional capacity to solve the issue. Problem is, it's gonna follow her. Right? See, so she hadn't mended what she needed to mend here. That's what I was trying to say. And a lot of times people make excuses like, yeah, I cut people off quick. Yeah. And if they don't get me, then you know what it is. I'm okay. I'm good. Yeah. But you notice a pattern, don't you? You the problem. You notice that you are the one that keeps causing the issues. You're the one that's in these issues all the time. And, oh, they get me. Well, no, people are tolerating you. I know too, because I'm an avoidant. So I know sometimes what happens. People are tolerating me. When I say that in terms of emotional connection, they're tolerating me in a sense of they know that they can't rely on me, so they can only give me so much. Now, that might be good for me, but is it really beneficial for the friendship and the relationship that we're building? Is there any reciprocity that's needed in this space? Right? A lot of us avoidants especially focus on the big picture, not the small details, because the small details require multiple small details require energy and emotional, and it's an emotionally taxing task to be on point for the little details. Call me when you need me is what you might hear from a lot of emotionally avoidant people. Or, you know, when there's a problem, call me. And you will. People will call you and they will rely on you in those moments. But when it comes to the small details, the little minute details of a relationship and a friendship, those things are very difficult. That's what's going to actually cause the bridge to be built. See, the big pillars are there for foundational support, but you need it brick by brick by brick to make the bridge. If you don't have the little brick by brick to build a bridge, then we got a problem. We ain't got a bridge. You just got pillars. So you need both, right? But the tiny ones are just as important as the big ones as well, all right? So look, if you're going through something like this, please, we are doing coaching at this point in time. We're trying to help people mend relationships with themselves. Whether you're in a relationship, single, dating, married, divorced, we can help. All right, because we're here solving an issue within yourself. And so if this is something that resonates with you, if this is something you've seen in your relationship and your friendships, that you might run away or avoid very difficult conversations or avoid situations where you've been the issue, or whether someone else has been an issue and you want to talk about it, reach out to us, book into my calendar. Description box will hold the link for you, and let's get working. Okay, all right. We want to get deep and we want to uncover the roots and begin to heal deep down in those spaces where we've been wounded. Okay. But listen, the price of the situation, we always say as well, pay what you feel it's worth. Okay. And if all you've got is that little bit, I always use the scripture where Elijah and the widow and the oil and the flour and the vessels of oil. Listen, some people only got what they've got, and that's okay. Give me what you got. That's okay. We're going to work with that, right? Because the good Lord going to bless everybody. And that's what we're here for. Okay, I want you to be armed and ready to go out there and to prosper emotionally as well as physically. All right, I appreciate you guys. We'll see you again very soon for another video.